Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to A Gentleman's Life. I'm doing kind of a quick run of videos right now, but I did a video a couple of days ago where I talked through my collection and gave some thoughts about what I was thinking about in the future. And I've kept thinking. I've talked to some people, and I've settled on. I'm 29, and I've been planning on doing a big watch purchase for my 30th. Granted, we're still talking, several months away at this point. But as I've been looking over different watches and thinking about where my collection is at, so I have glare in my glasses. Let me get rid of those for you. As I've been thinking about where my collection's at and the variety of it and where I want it to go, I've been contemplating different watches for my 30th, and I've finally settled on one. However, it's a discontinued model, and it's not one you see for sale a lot. And I happen to have found a pretty good condition for a reasonable price, in my opinion. So, as I've been going over my collection, I decided I'm really going to pare down and get this watch, even though it's several months early, as my kind of big 3-0 watch. So I'll start by showing you the watches I'm going to sell, talking through my collection where it's going to be now, and then I'll give you a view of the watch I have chosen. So first, here is everything that is going for sale from my collection. So we'll start left to right. And most of these, I like plenty of these watches, but they're either redundant with other watches in my collection I'd rather keep more, or they're just stuff I don't wear enough, that sort of thing. So starting on the left, we have a quartz Movado Museum. I like the simple design. It's just a minute and hour hand, modern dress design, but I don't wear dress watches that often. So unless it's something really special, I just feel like I don't need to have it in my collection. I don't wear it enough, so I'm going to move that on to a new owner. And the same thing kind of goes for this Orient, the Orient Bambino. I have the one with the rose gold Roman numerals. I like this watch quite a bit. Actually, I like it enough where I got it for my dad because it kind of fits with stylistically what he likes. But once again, I just don't wear dress watches enough. So I felt like this was one to send on to another owner who's going to wear it more and get something really special for myself. Now, one of them is just a G-Shock. This is a Solar Mudman. I have another G-Shock in the collection and a Suunto ABC watch, so I felt like this one could go. I don't really need it that much. Then I've already mentioned this one before in a previous video. My 42mm Christopher Ward Trident. I have ordered the new version of the Christopher Ward Trident because it now comes in 38mm, and I was never quite happy with how the 42mm one fit my wrist. So I have the new 38mm coming. The 42mm don't need it anymore, so that one will move on. And then I also have another watch I've mentioned in a video before. That is the Steinhart Ocean One. This one is the DLC version. I like it. It's the only DLC watch I have. But Submariner homage, a DLC watch I don't wear all that often. It's just not necessary for me to have, and a little bit redundant. Again, I have other tool watches, other tool divers even. In the collection, so that one's going to go. And then the Seiko Orange Monster. It's kind of a flash of color in my collection, but I'm going to be getting a white with red bezel Christopher Ward Trident GMT to bring some color to my divers. And this is just something I don't wear that often. I can't wear it on work days anyways, so I'm going to let that one go as well. And then the last two, which were the hardest ones to give up, I have my Squale, the 50 Atmos. This is kind of a limited run, bead blasted case. matte dial, matte bezel watch, and actually I really love this watch. I love the color blue. Squalite does color so well. I love the orange second hand, the case finishing, the shape of the case. The only reason this watch is going is because I have a blue Omega Seamaster, the last wave dial Bond Seamaster, and I just think I don't really need two blue divers in the collection. So as much as I really do love this watch, it's going to go because I just don't feel like I need two blue divers, and I'll feel bad about letting that watch go. I really love it. I'll make sure to do a video review of the Squalite before I sell it, and give you guys my thoughts on that watch. And I'll probably do a video review also on the Orient Bambino as well. And then it won't be a review. I'll probably do a video about thoughts on this watch too. I'm planning on selling my vintage watch, the Seiko 6105 8119, probably the most famous and sought after of the vintage Seiko divers. Pretty much in pristine, all original condition, other than the crystal, which is a sapphire crystal upgrade. However, I do have the original crystal in the box, so really, really excellent condition. I love this watch as well. The asymmetrical cushion case is just something that's so different. But when it came down to it, I have a black dial diver. My black dial diver also has square hour markers, since it's a Tudor Pelagus, and I feel like this is another one that's just probably going to go. This is the other one that I really don't want to send on its way. And if I can find a way to not sell the Seiko or the Squale, I will. But those are the two that will also probably get me the most money out of everything I'm selling. So that is everything out of my collection that I'm planning on paring down and selling off to make way for a special acquisition. And to show you the state of my collection now that I've pared it down, alright, so getting rid of all those leaves me with these. So this is where the 38mm Christopher GMT will go. It's going to be the white dial with ceramic red burgundy bezel. Then we have the Omega Seamaster there. You can see in the blue, and then the Tudor Pelagus. This is where the new acquisition will go. And then I have just a quartz ESQ by Movado dress watch. It's a Cartier tank homage. The reason I have that is actually that's the one, as I explained before, that my parents got me before my first promotion in the military, and so it has a little bit of sentimental value there. And then next row down, I have the Hamilton Khaki in the 38mm, the Marathon, and then I have a Christopher Ward pilot watch, styled after the B-Er style. This one I'm going to keep. I'm going to give that to probably my brother sometime in the future as a gift. Right now he has one single watch. It's a Seiko 5 dress watch that I got him. So I think it'd be nice to give him something like that as a casual watch for the future. And then I also have my System 51. And then in the bottom I have, instead of having a separate Steinhardt box, I've just decided to pare it down to a single Steinhardt row. So I have the Apollon, the Ocean 2, which I like more than the Ocean 1. It's more of an original Steinhardt design. And then the Steinhardt Premium of B-Er. And then down at the bottom, just a couple digitals, my G-Shock, the Digi Annie, and the Suunto, the ABC. And that'll be what I have left after selling out all of these other watches, which is still a significant number of watches, but what I'm trying to do is pare it down to ones I really want more, and ones where I have more variety in what I have to wear. Instead of having two blue divers and a couple black divers, I'd like to narrow it down and have the colorful diver, the blue diver, the black diver, a dressy diver and a tool diver, that kind of thing. And to bring up to speed on what I'm purchasing, here we are, and as you can see, this is the Zenith El Primero Chronomaster, and this is the triple date moon phase. So you can see up in the top left, you have Tuesday, and then the month on the right with the date down between the 4 and the 5 o'clock. You've got the chronometer feature with the moon phase in the subdial at the 6 o'clock. It's got the square pushers, and this is the 39 millimeter. So this is from back in the early 2000s, before they discontinued the model. They last year released a 500-piece limited edition reissue of this watch using the original 410 movement from the watch. But that one's in 42 millimeters, and I really like the smaller size of the original ones. So I'll show you a few other pictures here from the listing. Really nice design, really beautiful movement. My reasoning for this is, I wanted something special for a dress watch, since I don't wear them that often, and I have some of these cheaper ones. I just want one, really special one. I also have wanted a Zenith for a while and haven't had that in my collection yet. I don't have a chronograph in my collection yet, and I've never had a moon phase, and this kind of hits all of those points at once for me. So I think it would just be a really excellent addition to my collection that hits a lot of things at once, and would make a great classy, classic watch to get for my 30th. So there you have it. That's kind of been the plan I've decided on for the next year and a half to 2 years. That's kind of my big purchase. I want to just pare down the collection and have it be a little bit simpler and a little bit smaller. I actually have a question for all of you as well that came from this thought process, and that is, when it comes to making that big purchase or doing a little change of direction for your collection, how do you make that decision, and where does that come from for you? For me, I started with the cheaper lower tier watches, from the $150 to $400 watches is kind of where I started. I guess you could call that kind of tier 2, beginning of tier 3, bottom of tier 3. And I slowly worked my way into pretty much solidly tier 3 watches. And then I went and added a couple what I would consider like tier 4 watches, the Tudor and the Omega. And then I personally think this Zenith is a tier 5, although it's obviously a second hand. I just decided, although I really still like the variety I can get in that tier 2 and 3 range, but when it comes to, I guess for me what I've decided personally is that when it comes to spending hard-earned money, because I don't make tons of money, I'm not a rich guy, I make a pretty average salary, and if I decide to spend money on a watch, it means I have to not spend it on something else. Whether it's, instead of taking a big, huge 2-week vacation, I can take a couple 4-day weekend trips for the year and that's it. Or whether it's, I hold off on some other purchase I want and buy the watches instead. That's kind of the decisions I have to make. I've had to give up some other things in life to kind of work on my watch collecting. And I've decided because of that if I'm going to spend my hard-earned money on watches, for me, I want something special that I am going to wear more often, rather than lots of things that I don't wear as often. And I still plan on having quite a few watches. You can see my watch box holds 20 watches, and I'm willing to fill it, but not quickly, and only when I can buy, I think now, those more special pieces for me. And for me to fill this 20-piece watch box now, whereas it's already been full in 2 or 3 years of collecting. As my tastes have refined, I think now, it could take me 20 years to fill this watch box. But I'm okay with that, because those watches I get over the years, I will wear and will spend time on my wrist, and I'll make memories with them. So that's what I've decided as I've decided to pare down the collection, is that if I'm going to spend my money, it needs to be something special. And I'm interested in your take on that, guys. When you decide to make a change with the collection, or sell off a few pieces for one piece, or vice versa, sell one piece to get a few, what drives that decision, and how do you come to that? So either leave comments below, or if you would like to do a video response, I'd love to watch and hear your response and thoughts on that question. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I will talk to you again soon.